He looked like his name should be Pierre, and it was definitely because of the raspberry beret. He wore a raspberry beret. I'm sorry, Nakansi.
What I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
We're all just going to get really petty with each other.
I know. The whole episode.
Low energy right now. I just
every
don't
episode.
feel good.
This is what I'm talking about.
See, when you do this, Alex, right there.
This is exactly why. And then they wonder why I'm quiet.
Wow, and now I can't even be myself?
All of
is
those,
what you're saying?
All of those references, I had no idea.
That was a Prince song.
Yeah. Still, this is what I'm talking about.
Making references that only he could get because that's a deep cut.
Let me be myself. I know when me and Junior go into SpongeBob cuts.
I swear, I'm like, this is why I'm going to be quiet now.
How does he not know these?
No, and I'm not saying that you have to like.
Just do it.
You don't have to contribute if you don't want to.
I'm going to be, yeah, guys. Doing it again.
Or you can do.
I'm just kidding.
Wait. You can make my my podcast listener noises. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Really?
But I don't want you to think I'm being petty now.
No, I'm so kidding, dude.
Huh?
That's the deep cut. Is that he's always petty?
Damn, I sowed some bad blood.
Really?
In here, bad blood cornfield.
Really?
I feel like you're just like on a first date, and you're making just the appropriate noises to at least make yourself sound interested enough to where I'll still fuck you later.
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm still gonna fuck you later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So good. Okay. All right. Okay. Last week, the Hidden Shadows did us the kindness and through some magic created a portal so that we can have a remote podcast. Today, we're together all in the same chamber as a family, as a unit, as one. And we are, apparently there's construction in the next room.
It's got a little funk to it.
We are going to do our episode today, our review on the art of self-defense.
What is that even about?
It's about self-defense and art. He defends himself by sketching something real quick right before they punch him in the face. And then he shows it to them, and they're like, damn, that's a good sketch. And they're like, you can have it if you don't punch me in the face. And then they don't punch him in the face.
But the twist is that this is all just a really, really big JoJo reference.
I actually pulled up a really good interview that I want to dissect with you all.
That would be fantastical. But let me introduce my name. My name is Alex.
Not himself, though. Just his name. Who are you?
Alex. And who are you, sir?
I don't know.
You are Khan.
Am I?
AKA Junior. AKA Junebug.
Who
I'm letting you all know the names that I will be using for him. Who him is. Him.
I am the powerful, the sensual, the indestructible Mushu.
Is he going to be in the next in Mulan?
Okay. No, he's not. They're actually remaking that movie very differently than they've been remaking the Disney films.
I'm still so balls excited. That deep voice that you guys just heard right now, that robust, strong voice.
Is it really, though?
It is. None other than our very own Nakansi.
Are you sure it's not a little petty?
Okay. All right.
You feel it? I definitely feel.
We're having like one of those episodes where we gave each other constructive criticism, and we're a little salty about it.
You know, like being open to new ideas.
All right. Okay.
Oh, okay. You want me to fix that?
Oh, okay. Okay. Edit your voice here. Edit your voice here. Edit your voice here. Okay.
Alex, maybe I should be in charge of the editing this time, so I can edit your dumb voice out of there. So we love each other. We swear.
Yeah, we swear.
We watched.
Swearing is bad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, mother. we watched The Art of Self-Defense, a fantastical movie. But before we get into Khan's Game Corner, let's go to Khan's Game Corner. Oh, wait, you don't have one.
No, I'm in a very depressive mood right now.
Khan's Game Corner is closed for business for now, temporarily. Gone fishing, and they'll be back. But Nakansi has a recommendation for us today.
Welcome to Nakan's Game Corner.
Opa!
Currently, we are finishing up Comic-Con. As you know, they've been releasing some crazy new news.
Hell
but
yeah.
I just got a new game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Switch.
How is that shit?
Ah, fantastic. Very nostalgic. If anybody has ever played like X-Men Legends or the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, they're just like a beat 'em up game that you can play with four people.
That's fun.
Yeah, be a bunch of different characters.
So you've been playing that one?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character to play right now?
I actually just got to maybe the second level, and now I have Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Oh, fuck yes.
Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen.
Oh, shit.
And Venom as my team right now.
Oh, you a Spider team.
Yeah,
This
right
just
now.
in, he is a total Spider fanboy.
That was the news noise.
Mm.
Hey, dude, you and I connect on that aspect though, because
Spider fanboy.
I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. So
You will love this game because it's taking Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet story, which is a very old story that's told over and over and over again. But it's taking that and bringing all of the Marvel characters together. So you have Spider-Man, you have Captain Marvel, you have all the Avengers, you even have the X-Men.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
That's exciting.
Finally.
Um
And they have cool cinematics. I'm just having a good old time.
He's having a really good, really good nostalgia trip. One thing, go ahead.
Nintendo Switch allows you to not only play with 4 people on one screen, but you can also play it online.
That's dope.
The crazy part is, why is this game not on the PS4 and the Xbox?
That's really weird to me. Yeah.
It's really weird.
I mean, good for Nintendo for like giving reasons for people to buy a Switch other than Super Smash Brothers.
But Marvel Ultimate Alliance has always been on all consoles.
Yeah.
Now it's only on the Switch.
That does suck.
Probably just for a limited amount of time, maybe for a couple years.
Oh yeah, that won't last.
Yeah.
What I was going to bring up is that it's getting for how good Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is getting online as far as reviews go. It's also getting some pretty mixed reviews, where it's definitely limited by the Nintendo Switch as far as powerhousing goes.
Graphics are
Yeah. Some people are really, really just not into I haven't looked too much into it, but I guess it has some sort of minor cell shading to give it a comic book feel, and a lot of people online are just not digging it. Some of the and then some of the other complaints that come up for it are like really funny because objectively that's the gameplay. That's like the game style. It's a beat 'em up. Of course you're going to just beat up a bunch of minions and power up.
Is it almost like a is it almost like a Dynasty Warriors type feel, or no? Not as many
not as many people that you're fighting.
You're fighting more one-on-one.
It's no. It's really you're fighting a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's like the people that complain about this game are people that obviously shouldn't be playing this game.
Right.
Because if you like Marvel Ultimate Alliance or any action beat 'em up game where you just mash buttons and like make the screen flash crazy colors, then this game's not for you.
Yeah.
Why would you go into Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 expecting God of War? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go and watch a Transformers movie expecting The Art of Self-Defense.
And a good plot.
Yeah,
I take offense to that.
Okay, not a good plot, but good, like, well-rounded characters.
There you go. That's a little better because like that, like the Transformers themselves are like amazing characters.
I'm talking about you, Megan Fox.
But it like her toe thumbs.
Yeah, me too.
But that was a really big tangent. So again, going back to
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, it is a fun game. It's fun.
All
yeah,
right, go play that
It's tons
shit.
of fun. It is hella flashy. And as far as action RPG aspects go, I haven't heard a single complaint about the actual leveling up, like RPG aspects to it.
I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Right?
Well, now I have a second reason to buy Switch, and as soon as it comes out on Xbox, I'm going to forget about buying a Switch and play it on Xbox One. I have a recommendation, but usually this is where Junior interrupts me, so I'm going to go ahead and start it and then give you the opportunity to interrupt me.
Oh, right. So I'm
Here
just
we
going to
go.
actually just jump in on game design, talking
job.
about whatever you think you do bring up.
Good job.
Because right now I'm in a sad place. I'm in a
Okay.
sad space.
I wish you had something to interrupt me with.
I know, but right now I'm in such a sad space that all I can do is yell and get my energy out somewhere.
Don't
This
do
is
it.
just
I know.
not the place. Okay, I got my recommendation. One song, and that is Sad Dance by Cat Company. It is fierce. It is beautiful. It is witty. It's as if Beyonce was a teen in the peak of the screamo music era,
Oh my goodness, Beyonce.
going to her first concert. Frizzy hair, thick framed glasses, braces, and everything. That's how it makes me feel. But it's a really dope song for sure. And as a guy who's in his 30s and is terrified of becoming that person who listens to the same rotation of music from high school, it's a breath of delicious vape-filled air. Thank you, Con.
Yeah.
No, at the end of the song, so it's a really cool like metal song, beautiful guitar work, and at the end you get that 8-bit Nintendo music ending as like an outro. So go check them out. You better bet your ass that I'm gonna post this song along with a few other artists that I found on our stories. Go listen to those, fam, and support the screamo scene. And keep paying these fools to make beautiful music.
Also, call Alex on his bet. He's bet the entire ass. That's both cheeks. That's a full goddamn moon.
Yes. Oh yeah, just the entire ass. Exactly right.
Yeah, he's bet both cheeks on this.
Both of them. I will pay if you prove me wrong in some way. Yes.
I actually have a list of a bunch of new music that I've been listening to.
Okay, we have 30%.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Dreamville Records, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, J. Cole and his team. Eris by Jaden Smith. Let's see. The Lost Tapes 2 by Nas. Fire. Rouge by Yuna. Angel's Pulse by Blood Orange. And 3 by Banks. And one last one.
One more thing.
Ed Sheeran's new album.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number
Okay.
6 collaborations project. A lot of good music out right now.
It's absolutely amazing. I've been a big fan of Ed Sheeran for a long time, and it's just like he just put together what was essentially like a feature album, just him working with a bunch of people he's wanted to work with.
That's exciting.
So it's really cool.
Okay, now on to the meat of the meat sandwich.
Full meat sandwich, no potatoes, no bread. Full
Nothing.
meat.
Not even lettuce. Okay, yes, lettuce, because you need fiber. Okay, boys and girls. Otherwise, you don't poop. Nakansi. So we watch The Art of Self-Defense, and for this very special movie, I wanted to bring back a segment that we haven't done in a while, and that's the 1-minute plot breakdown.
Timer.
Junior, I'm gonna need you to time me. You can use mi teléfono si quieres.
I'm just trying to make weird noises on the phone or on the microphone since I don't have a game corner to talk about anything important to me and important in my life anymore.
I feel like it's somewhat making up for it, but not enough. But Appreciate it. You sound like a sad llama.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What does it take to be a man? IPAs, beards, ironically drinking appletini in a pink polo just to show how little of a fuck you give? Yeah, maybe. Casey's gonna find out all about this in this movie. Casey is an unripened tomato with a tiny Dachshund dog to call his best friend, and he gets mugged by cool motorcycle guys because that's what cool motorcycle guys do. Now, he's super afraid, can't buy his dog food. Now they split an onion soup, hiding inside. Should he buy a gun? No. Karate will solve it. But wait, Sensei's not the male role model with awesome taste in music and belts he thought he was. Turns out he's a weirdo who makes naked massages by not women his priority. Maybe you should have bought that gun. Also, rainbow colored belts defeat black belt. It's a fact, and that's the movie.
Wow, you had 2 seconds left. Well done.
Nicely done.
I was sweating it there in the end.
Yeah, this movie is definitely an art independent film. For most people who are going into this expecting like some strange, like straight up comedy film, this is not what it is. They're actually calling this movie Our Next Fight Club, because what happens is when people go to these kind of movies, most of the audience will miss the underlying message, but the directors of these films don't hold your hand. They just give you the movie and have you take from it what you will.
Yeah, I really appreciate the work that they did in this movie, because I feel like the underlying message is, what is masculinity, and what anxiety do we go through as guys based off of those expectations that society sets on us.
What is toxic masculinity, hyper masculinity?
Right.
What is over the top?
And like, what role are we supposed to play in society? And like, Casey is a character who's just anxious all the time. He wants to fit in with dudes. He can't connect with them. And he goes through that traumatic experience, which seems to be like the icing on the cake for him. And that's where, yeah, he kind of found some kind of guidance in that class, but at the end of the day, like, he found out that that's not the role that he's supposed to fill. Like, he's supposed to do it in his own way.
Crazy part, that was the whole idea. That was his sensei's plan.
To
give him enough free will to make his own choice.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And he did. And he killed his... Dun, dun, dun!
Spoiler alert. I tried to.
It's not like you have to rewind the tape a little bit so you don't hear the first part of that sentence.
This film, this is a very Japanese film. When you watch a Japanese film and it's eccentric,
mm-hmm.
It's over the top, it has weird comedy randomly, and then it just comes back full circle.
Yeah,
like Blade of the Immortal.
Like Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Oh.
Remember when we watched Blade of the Immortal? When we were at the theater, we're like, all right, I can dig it. It's kind of weird. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
That's what I liked about it, is that they've incorporated really good humor in this movie to make it a little more relatable, which may be why people won't get the underlying message underneath it all. But at the end of the day, it was really funny. Like,
there was a lot of really, really just dark humor going on in that movie, and I loved it.
It was great.
I was upset that I didn't need you to be there to like think about the movie, but the whole time it's still like, he's buying a gun. Guns are weak.
I would like to purchase a gun. I would like one that would fit in my hand. Sounds like you need a handgun. Yeah, that sounds exactly like what I...
Jesse Eisenberg. Well, all the actors in this film were fantastic.
They were phenomenal.
I just really like Jesse Eisenberg's movies. They're just... He's such a good actor.
This one in particular is like low key kind of typecasting him into like those mannerisms.
For sure.
But he does them so well. You're like, oh yeah, he's being meek because he's meek.
He has this deadpan kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
Or delivery, I should say.
Like the tough part is like, fuck, man. What would you think? He's like a little more masculine Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a more normal Michael Cera.
he's like Michael Cera Squirtle and he's War Turtle.
Yeah. Michael Cera Squirtle.
Wow.
And he's War
That's
Turtle.
really, really bad.
Who's
But
Blastoise?
It's
Brad Pitt.
It's no, it's not. No, it's
Michael
Adam
J. Fox.
Adam Sandberg.
Adam Sandberg is Blastoise.
Andy Samberg?
Andy Samberg. We done.
'Cause I'm
fucked
Adam
up.
Sandler is Blastoise.
No, he's Mega Evolution. No, he's not. That's an insult.
Mega Blastoise?
That's an insult.
I don't know. He's really confident about everything he does.
Well, he is kind of the king of his little area.
But the problem is that I like Blastoise. I don't like Adam Sandler.
Well, nothing he puts out is worth watching now, but he has so much history.
I guess at the time, because
Yeah.
Wedding Singer is actually a really good movie.
It
I
is
went
a
back
good
and
movie.
watched it.
Punch Drunk Love
Haven't watched it.
is a good movie.
Is that an older one?
He's just acting in it. It's not even comedy.
There's another one that he's also just acting in, and I'm having a lot of trouble trying to remember the name.
The Longest Yard.
No.
Wait, I just remember Nelly in that movie.
I remember Goldberg. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There we go. I remembered it. So there's another movie that he's just straight acting in, and it's alongside Don Cheadle, and it's called Rain on Me, and it's really, really important to me because I thought it was brilliant, and also they use a video game as like a centerpiece for what is going on, and that video game is Shadow of the Colossus.
You're going to watch an Adam Sandler documentary with me, and then you're going to appreciate him.
Yeah.
But enough about Adam Sandler. Why don't we get into some badass moments about this movie? I can start us. Here we go.
Can you?
I love that
Can-
place. It's
can you?
so nice
Can
in the winter.
Can you? Kendall
Jenner.
Kendall?
The fight between Anna and Thomas in the night class. Thomas is the gentleman who got promoted to black belt.
Oh, no. Take that word back. He's the fucking bastard.
Well, yeah, obviously. And that's why it was so badass when she kicked his ass. It was one of the longer fight scenes and one of the more technical fight scenes that you saw. And she was just fucking brutal. It was great.
It was amazing.
Yeah. It just combined grappling, combined striking, and a little bit of... If it's karate and like flips, is it still wushu? No. Huh?
Well, with flips, that is judo.
Judo. Thanks, man.
Chop,
No,
chop,
not her flipping him,
Judo
but they were
flip.
kind of doing some acrobatic shit too, like in that fight.
That's just movie stuff.
Just Cirque du Soleil. Got it.
Chop, chop, chop.
Um,
Judo flip.
Let's see. I got another one, but I'll save this until you guys give yours. Go ahead. I'm cueing you with my eyes, Junior.
I can't see. Oh, God.
Oh, no. It's too strong of a cue. I've broken him. Let me try. Oh, Jesus. He's going to recover. Do you have a badass moment?
I do.
Okay.
Her speech at the very end of the film.
God damn it, that was the one. Okay, go ahead. I have the line. There you go.
That was the cherry on the top for me. That was the
It's on the top.
whole meaning of this movie. You can be brutally compassionate and savagely peaceful.
God damn it, dude. I remembered it. I wrote it down a day later, and it stuck with me too.
Yeah, that is the underlying message.
100%.
And the whole movie, there's a lot of the things. Of course, you're waiting for the movie to get crazy. You're
Right.
like, okay, basically, we're watching a Japanese slice of life film.
Whoa, slice of life in terms of
Yeah, it's a slice of life. You're really living Casey's life. Just day by day, what's he doing? Next step, next thing.
Speaking of slice of life, how bad did you guys want a like anime beach episode of watching Anna being the new master of the class and like Casey teaching the students and everybody's like happy and in harmony like under this new sensei because this is how it was supposed to be? I wanted that just to please my weeaboo soul.
That was the ending credits where they didn't show us anything. They just kept hearing things.
And you were seeing the close-up picture of the dog.
Yeah.
Right next to the rainbow belt. Master.
Rainbow belts. My badass moment was when he protects Anna.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, that's what training is for.
With the
fucking do it.
The cop.
Yeah.
When he disarmed the cop.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then it took it a step further, and I'm like, yeah, that's toxic.
Hell yeah.
The story of the finger kill. Badass moment. Badass moment. This is how stories get passed down sometimes.
Yeah.
These are how legends are made.
Yep.
Okay. This interview is actually a really good interview by slashfilm.com. And they got to sit down with the director, Riley Stearns, and kind of discuss the film. Some of the key points that I want to talk about is this first question. Martial arts movies are always about someone training until he can fight his bullies. This might be one of the first movies where the bullied person ends up becoming a bully himself, which is a very modern perspective. Is this something you've been thinking about with regards to the underdog martial arts movies? And Riley Stearns goes ahead and says, I guess it was a theme, not with regards to martial arts. I was thinking more in the context of what people were expecting. Like you said, there are lots of martial arts movies where the trajectory you've grown up into and are conditioned to accept. But you could take anything from any sports movie. Somebody who's an underdog and trains and works hard and eventually overcomes, or in the process of trying to overcome, loses but ultimately gains more in their loss than they would have in their win. I didn't want that to happen in the same way. I wanted a movie that started off in that vein. Then, as it went along, essentially halfway through the film, I wanted the rug to be pulled out from under you and you be woken up in a way that you thought you knew what was going to happen and you have no idea. Along the way, like you said, he takes on the bully aspect. He's trying to come to the teachings of sensei, and most of those are very, very bad teachings. Very overtly horrible things that he's embracing. I think even in a spoilery sense, even in the way that he kind of overcomes at the end, it's him embracing a little bit of that darkness that he's gathered along the way for the greater good. In my opinion, Casey may make some decisions in the way that he solves his problems that's almost like a self-sacrifice. I'm doing this because I have to so nobody else has to go through with it, or so nobody else has to deal with it in the future. For him, I think it's all about how you honor the dojo, which is so funny to say in an interview, but he's really looking for the honor of the dojo and really concerned about that. He's willing to sacrifice his own morality for the greater good. That's what was important for me. That was something I definitely wanted to do.
Okay. Is that the end of Riley's answer?
Yes.
Okay. I do like that question because he was like, yeah, on some level, Casey kind of became the bully, but he didn't really have a choice, right?
Well, it's funny because, you know, when he talks about how he wanted to have the rug pulled out from under us as the audience, well, he puts Casey in very real situations and gives him choices. And some of the choices that Casey makes are good choices. Like, for example, when that guy parks and just swings the door open and smashes his car. He could easily just hit the guy in the throat, but he made a conscious choice of, you know, staying calm and said, that's okay, it's not even worth the fight.
But he was frustrated about it. I think because he drove away crying very beautifully. I really liked that scene of him driving away from that. But I feel like I would have been frustrated. I'd been like, damn it, Alex, why didn't you step up and beat the shit out of that guy? Rip off his beard. And I think you're coming at it from the perspective of somebody who's already been studying martial arts, and you know that the right move is to avoid the altercation.
Yeah, well, not necessarily avoid. I would have stood up for myself. This movie is about extremes, of course.
Right.
So it didn't show him finding a middle ground. It showed him either giving up completely or killing somebody.
That's a good point.
There was no middle ground, but that's the whole point of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you. And
it
then
was very, very clear that he didn't have the gall. Like the confrontation took like what, 2 or 3 minutes of on-screen time, and like I feel like 80% of it was just us seeing Jesse Eisenberg's body language of being like really, really meek, but also having that tiny bit of courage to actually speak up about it, and then getting shot down.
Yeah, that was that was him working through it. That was the beginning of it.
Isn't that like, in a weird way, isn't that how all confrontations go though? Like it's like a 2-minute thing, but it stays with you for like a long ass time. You're just like, God damn it, I should have done this way, or I should have done it that way, or I should have said this.
Or I should have stood up for myself just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the concept of Casey going, the self-sacrifice of him taking the sensei down, spoiler alert, because he didn't want anybody else to go through what he's going through. And you can tell that he bought into what the idea of karate is. Sorry for saying it in a douchey way. And
No, you're not.
douche. And he really wanted to like uphold the values, but in the right way.
Yeah. And these were all values that his sensei taught him.
Yeah.
But to a different level of what his sensei was doing. It's just a different way to go to get to it.
But that's also part of what makes this movie such a like modern storytelling, because I feel like if you had just read the script, it would read out a lot like a light novel does.
Yeah.
Right? You don't really understand why he's the protagonist, and then halfway through you're like rooting for him. You want him to take charge of his own actions, which he starts doing, and then somehow it just spirals out of control into this kind of unrealism drama that's still rooted in like, no, this kind of stuff happens, like this is reality.
Let me tell you why this is a dark comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything they touch on are very serious things, but the funny thing is that their goals in the end are the same.
Between Casey and Sensei?
And yeah, and everybody there, all the students there, their goal is to be able to have confidence so they can live their lives freely.
Yeah.
By freedom of choice. But the thing is, if you don't have a good moral system, your freedom of choice can be vastly different than the next person.
Right.
Yeah. The means that you take to get to that freedom, or whether or not you care if your freedom to live by your choice is inhibiting other people's freedoms, which I don't think, which is what makes Casey such a hero, right? He knows that that's wrong. He doesn't want to inhibit other people's freedoms. He wants to empower other people.
But that doesn't happen till he makes a lot of mistakes that he still didn't even take ownership of yet.
Yeah, and
like,
I think
like hitting his boss in the throat.
They never
Which were where everybody laughed,
Yeah.
but he could pretty much have killed his boss. The one nice person to him.
Nikansi, you were talking about your audience, and you were saying that your audience was kind of fucked up because you felt like they were laughing at serious moments that you were like, this isn't meant to be funny. Like you're not really getting the message. What were those moments for you?
Some of those moments were basically when they would have like a breakdown, or not a breakdown, I should say, but like a monologue or a speech about something serious. Like, let's take example, what's the girl's name in the movie? I'm really bad with character names. Okay, Anna. Her real name is like Imogen. But Anna, she's explaining how the students need to train and how to be safe, but also how to protect yourself.
Right.
How not to expect your partner to be like responsive all the time. Everybody's human. So yes, your partner needs to pay attention to these things, but it's also up to you to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Tap or take a nap.
Tap or take a nap. Yeah.
Which was hilarious, but I feel like a lot of people missed what she said. What she was explaining was very important, and the way she broke it down on how to train with your partner was well done. And the funny thing is, the reason why Riley Stearns got that down so excellently was because he is a practitioner of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Let's do another question. How many more do you want to do? You want to do like two or three more?
Yeah, let's see.
Really quick before you get into that, I wanted to bring up that and I don't remember what part in the pod this ends up coming up, but you mentioned how this should go down as powerful as Fight Club, and in that particular sense, just a second ago we were talking about how the freedom of choice doesn't necessarily mean the freedom of consequences,
right?
Ooh.
And that is really, really evident in Fight Club as well, where it's just they don't know what they want to do, so they join Tyler Durden's cult. And he keeps telling them they have the freedom to do whatever. But they never take responsibility for essentially becoming terrorists. And then it culminates in the end with, spoiler alert for if you somehow haven't seen Fight Club yet, the whole explosion of the building.
And that's what happens when you have a powerful thought of freedom, but with ignorance. That's how easily it can go the wrong way. Ignorance.
Yeah, not taking into consideration what the consequences are.
Right.
Yeah.
Next question. Are you satirizing the underdog myth? And Stearns says, I don't want to think I'm making fun of anything ever, especially my characters. I know that some people feel like I'm being so mean and beating Casey down too much. For me, I never look down at my characters. I see a lot of myself in Casey. Maybe that's why it's okay for me and I don't see that I'm being mean to him. Because I feel like any hit that he gets is like me taking a jab at my own psyche and who I am and who I think I'm supposed to be. Satirical. Did I say that right? Satirical? Satirical, maybe, isn't necessarily because I don't want to see it as making fun of something. And I think that I can't say this word.
Satirically?
No, they use satire in every single form. Okay, satirize. Okay, I got it. 1, 2, 3. Satirical maybe isn't necessarily because I don't want to see it as making fun of something. And I think satirizing, is that satirizing? Satire.
Wow, Riley Stearns.
I know the
Satirizing.
word. Satirizing.
Way to not sound pompous.
Satirizing.
Hey, I can use the words satirize.
Satire.
Satirizing. Satirical. Satirizing. Satirizing. Satirizing.
Yeah, you just have to say it in your goblin voice.
Yeah.
He's like not over here.
See, because satirical. I mean, satire. Satirical. Okay. Satire. Satirizing. Got it.
Go.
Okay. Satirical maybe isn't necessarily because I don't want to see it as making fun of something. And I think that satirizing something sometimes means you think you're better than something. And I definitely don't. But I do want to have fun with something and expectations. I want to play with those expectations and play with my opinion of myself and other men and who we are as society. All those are ideas that are under the surface and then in other instances, super strong nose right in front of your face. But I never want anything to feel like it's preachy or talking down to the audience. I want people to still be able to relate and have fun.
Okay. I like his answer because, yes, on some there were a lot of moments in Casey's character where he was going through struggle, and I was like, yo, I've gone through this struggle. I've gone through the nervousness of, trying to fit in with like overly masculine coworkers or whatever, right? And I do think that the best way to make other people relate to you is by adding humor to it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's okay. I think it's okay that he made these instances, these struggles, funny.
I am glad that he says in this interview that he doesn't want people to think he's making fun of anything, especially his characters.
Right.
Because really, all of these characters are him in some fashion.
Oh, interesting.
That's what he's trying to tell people, because he wrote this movie, he directed it. He's trying to tell a story and at the same time give many different perspectives, because especially as a student of a martial art, everything that Casey is going through, those thoughts come from somewhere.
Right.
And everything that just little certain aspects are just little thoughts of wisdom. He's pulled and you can see how things can get twisted, even accidentally.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I mean, I can see now you kind of give a human side to the sensei. As crazy as he may seem, on some level, it's a frustration that men are afraid. So on some levels, he wants to get these weak men and get them stronger so that they don't have to feel whatever fear that they do feel on a regular basis, and make him more confident and strong. Except he just took it to the extreme.
Yes, he didn't get their permission. He just did it.
Yeah.
But he was very helpful to Casey.
Like, he thought it was what was best for them.
Right. But instead of asking them and having them decide, he just did it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he's really
the
glass shoe, glass slipper of his character, is that it is incredibly ignorant to force people in those situations and then help them up. It's just insane to know that without knowing more of the backstory behind him and the first teacher, the one with the rainbow belt, and at some point that teacher must have taught him a lot about these kinds of things of becoming a man, right? Like what makes you manly. But then on some other level, he never taught him acceptance of those feelings, talking those, like, knowing how to address those emotions, and then supposedly killed him with a good old-fashioned pinky-sized finger hole to the brain.
I mean, the fantastic thing about this movie is if you watch the first half, you're like, oh, wow, okay, this sensei is really helping out Casey and this school of people. And then, of course, halfway through the film is when the director wants to flip things over, and then it just turns for the worse.
Right.
But when he explains, like, okay, if, you know, it's totally okay that you were watching class. Next time you can take a free class, see how you like it, and we can go from there.
Yeah, he was so, like, that's the thing about Sensei, is that he was so, like, he seemed very reasonable, right? He seemed like just a very reasonable human being. And like, you could trust him. And then but when he flipped over to that crazy side, nothing really changed about his attitude, the person he was. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was bipolar.
No, he was still a likable person. He just did crazy shit.
It was just the shit that he was doing. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, okay, what you said was right. Oh, but that's not how you should go about that.
I think that's why he was like,
I found him. I found the motorcycle. I found the guy. And this, you've been waiting to handle it. All right, we're gonna handle it. Of course. And it just went to a whole nother level.
Well, and I think that's what made him so unpredictable, right? Like, you just didn't know what he was gonna do next, and that's what made him scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked Sensei.
Yeah.
I liked his character.
His character was really cool. And
it was hilarious too.
His lines were good. His speeches were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
When he was talking to the whole class.
Which one? The martial arts is a language, or which one?
Oh, just all of them. Everybody had really good monologues. Like, I want to rewatch it to listen to the monologues.
I think another thing that comes up when you think about Sensei is, I mean, this is more in retrospect, though, because it's been a long time since we've seen the movie, and by a long time I mean like long enough. But like, in retrospect,
long days are 2 days for Junior.
It's been long. My brain don't know how to do things. Oh no! You know what? One thing I can do.
What's that?
I can satire satirically.
Can you
satirizing?
Can you satirize?
I'm gonna satirize satirically.
Sometimes
Tyrannosaurus Rexus.
Sometimes strange things summon up satirical satire. Satirizing satire.
Now that is Satanism.
I think I got a nosebleed.
Okay, let's go back to this.
But really, though, like, the thing I was trying to talk about was Sensei, up until like the halfway point when things get flipped, seems like a great teacher. He also is a good character, like we're all agreeing. But at that halfway point when things get flipped, the way that the movie was, the whole story of the movie is told, suddenly shows you, like, the unpredictable, like, where does this guy draw the line?
Right,
like,
that's exactly
he literally
it.
has the power to kill people, and where does he draw the line? And you know,
in Fight Club, when he meets Tyler Durden, which is himself, Edward Norton meets Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, okay, he's really helping this guy out. He's saying all the right things, and then it just goes too far. It's the same idea.
Yeah, like, you don't know where the line gets drawn, and the characters keep showing you what's after that, like, where you personally may have drawn the line. Like, the movie just continues onward, showing you what happens on the other side of whatever line you thought existed.
Dude, I do really like. My final thought. I do really like that we're drawing parallels between this and the Fight Club.
I want to rewatch both.
I do too.
Toxic masculinity has been a real thing for a long time.
Do you think toxic men like Sensei will get that he's not a good role model and they shouldn't be like him? I can't speak for other people, and I hope that people who watch it see a little bit of themselves in Sensei. Obviously, Sensei is an over-the-top character, and he's a very on-the-nose representation of masculinity to a fault. That's what it's supposed to be. I hope some people see a little bit of themselves in it and ask some questions of themselves. I also think that a lot of those kind of guys are set in their ways as well. Who's to say? But if the film is making fun of anything, it's making fun of that idea of toxic masculinity. It's 2 words I don't think I ever thought of as I was writing the script because they weren't thrown away in the same way when I was writing it. In a weird way, even though I wrote it 4 years ago, I think it's more relevant now than it would have been had I made it that year. So everything happens for a reason. I hope people are able to get in on the joke of it all, but I also have no delusions of grandeur. I'm not making any statements with this movie, but maybe a comment on that was important for me. Sensei and Anna aren't jokes. They believe in karate, right? And Stern says, very much so. I feel like Sensei believes in karate and is actually very, very good at karate, but he's drunk on power at the dojo. As a character, he probably, outside of the dojo, is still picked on. If he goes to the grocery store, he's wearing his socks and sandals with a tucked-in shirt. I think that people snicker at him behind his back, and he feels that. So he brings that negative energy into the dojo, and that's how he goes about the way that he teaches, especially in the night classes. So I think he's got a little bit of hurt in him, and he's reacting to that in a negative way. Anna is kind of like the counter to him. She sees all the good that can come from karate, and that's why she sticks around. And she sees there's the next generation of children coming up in it too. She's sticking around because she knows that even though it's being taught to her and to students in a way that is not doing any good, she sees what the overall can do, and she hopes that maybe she can have an effect on people. It's one of those things where if she sticks around, she thinks she'll help steer it in the right direction here and there, and that's important to her. She, like Casey, sees honor in the dojo and wants it to be a good thing, but so far she's not been able to make much of an impact, and that's frustrating for her. But it's also why she feels like she has to stick around. She has to be there and just try even if it fails. I would say that Casey's not necessarily good or evil. I think that he's just pliable and malleable, and he's a sponge. I think that Anna's probably the good, but she comes across as a little bit more rage. She's got this harder exterior. She's trying to protect herself and guard her morality.
Okay. So I guess let's touch on the toxic men aspect first, right?
Or toxic masculinity.
Well, I mean, like, in both situations, like with both characters, and I guess this makes me forward thinking, like, it is not masculine, it is not unmasculine, it's not feminine to be in touch with your feelings, to like address them and know how to operate around them, which is more of what gets across from Anna. Like that end of the movie speech that she gives is very, very. I mentioned I mentioned it before with, like, those contradictions are really, really important for telling you that the extremes and trying to get you to guide yourself around the, like, everything is possible and extreme. You want to be in the balance kind of deal.
Right. You were saying you can be brutally compassionate and savagely peaceful, right? That line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's nothing wrong with masculinity or femininity. The thing that is wrong is when either of those things become poisonous.
Yeah, and both definitely have the capacity to become just that. If you're not thinking things all the way through, if you're not feeling things all the way through, and you're just very shallow about the things that you do, then it could, again, like, it could turn out to be really bad. A freaking fire or a building on fire, like in the Fight Club. You don't think about the consequence.
This is a great film for people to start to see that there has to be a balance. Men have to be able to talk about their emotions, as well as those that talk more about their emotions you have to be strong mentally and physically, either way.
Yeah.
And that takes talking and discussing, and not running or hiding away from certain thoughts or aspects.
I want to put a pin in something, which is we really need to get a female to tell us what toxic femininity is. Like, you could look up a couple examples, but in my brain, part of this is mostly because we are all three men, and thus we have all experienced different levels of toxic masculinity.
Well, yeah, because we're men.
But that's what I mean. Like, there is, without a doubt in my mind, the potential for toxic femininity, only because it is an extreme, but we're only accustomed to the one extreme, which is toxic masculinity. In which case, we have quite a bit to talk about there.
No, I love that. I think that we should do that. Maybe the Sidetrack podcast will jump on that task.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. I think we could wrap this bad boy up. Did you want to get into some what the fuck moments?
The whole movie?
I have one.
The whole movie.
Yes, one. And then after I liked it. The first what the fuck moment, I think it's my only one, but it was when Sensei broke that guy's elbow in the night class.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna do it, and I was like, "Oh, sadness."
Oh yeah, it was coming, and again, it goes back to the point that I made, is that his demeanor did not change whatsoever. It was just the shit that he was doing, and you were just like, "Fuck, this guy's crazy."
I think a pretty good what the fuck moment for me is pretty much the entire second half of the movie, because it doesn't really stop giving you moments of like what has happened, and then you calm down a bit, and then it happens again. But in particular, was finding out that the dachshund was murdered.
Oh man,
that was like. I was just like, why? Like, the reason I had me in such a strong what the fuck moment in particular was because I could not understand why Thomas, I think was the character's name.
The guy who got promoted to black belt wrongly?
Yeah. I couldn't understand why, other than Sensei telling him to do it, that he would kill that dog.
There was something wrong. I think Thomas was the epitome or the product of that toxic masculinity and what somebody would become if they bought into everything that Sensei was telling them, right?
And all they said was yes.
Yeah, because not everybody was like that. Even Casey's training partner, which I think his name was Kenneth, was the African American gentleman.
The older guy?
No, the black man, the African American gentleman,
black gentleman. His name was Kenneth. Pulled up the IMBD. Suckles.
He did it.
He seemed
Kenneth
like a genuinely good dude.
Good amount of he like, as far as character development and the storytelling goes, like Kenneth had some more morality, some more ability to question some of the things that were going on, but at the same time he was still more of a yes man,
and he still did things that he shouldn't have, like when you have a new student and you just kick him and then say, oh sorry, I was just like, I forgot how strong I am. That's basically what he did.
Yeah,
and that's just like a dick move.
Hey, how about speaking of one of the lines, I want you to punch with your feet and kick with your fists.
That's
How
freaking
about-
hilarious. That is what you would call Confucianism at its finest, where you take things that are opposite so people can think about it.
What about
That's a
when
good
the
what the
vet?
fuck moment though.
He was just like, "There's something very peculiar.
Exactly.
It looks like somebody. There was like he was punched to death, but I could only find foot imprints."
That was
on the dog's
freaking.
body.
That's hilarious. Because
dying.
you know how in really old stories to make people think they would put it as a riddle. And then you're like, how can I punch with my feet and kick with my fists?
Hey, Nikanti.
Hey, but let me tell you how you do that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you.
Let me tell you how you do that. What
Please
he
do.
means by that is you need to be able to make your punches as strong as your kicks and your kicks as fast as your fists.
Oh.
Because nothing is stronger than your legs.
Realistically, it has more muscle mass.
Yeah.
Than
And
My tongue is stronger than my legs.
And your kicks can't be as fast as your fists, but that's your goal.
And my pen is stronger than my sword.
That's right.
Did you mean your penis stronger than your sword?
Yeah, actually, that's what I was. I didn't finish
It looked
the
like
word.
you had a typo
You
in your
can't
script
say
there.
pen is without spelling penis.
My pen is stronger than my. Yep, that's where the mistake was. Pit space.
That's right. That's
Um,
right. So what he's saying is true.
Yeah.
What he's saying is true. He's trying to teach his students to whatever your weakness is to work on it.
I love it.
So
Such
you need to be able to, if something isn't as fast or as strong as the other thing, well, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be that fast, but your goal should be to make it the best as possible.
Realistically, that also leads into the idiom of like the weakest link. Speaking about chains,
Mm-hmm.
that is how it works. If one link in the chain is going to be weak, then technically speaking, the entire chain becomes useless wherever it breaks.
Right.
So you want it to be, all of them, relatively speaking, to be strong, which is again the similar thing that you're saying with, you can only punch so fast, or so hard, you can only kick so fast.
It's like one of the things I like to tell people who are learning how to punch. Well, jabs are of course going to be your fastest strike because they're closest to your opponent. But that doesn't mean that your jab needs to be soft. You can still try and make your jab as hard as your back arm punch.
When you mean back arm, are you talking like a round, like
No, just your back arm.
Like like in
Your power
those,
punch.
those
so
monsters
like a
with
straight
like
or like
four
a hook?
arms.
That's
Your-
why I was like,
No, your
wait,
front-
they're like,
Junior
I'm thinking of, like,
obviously doesn't
motions.
watch boxing.
I have an arm in my back, and I use
take
that for
offense to
secret
that.
attacks.
I watch enough of a billion different games. So when you say back punch, you're talking about your back arm.
Yes, your back arm.
Okay.
Now,
that's
am I
why
a
I'm like-
four?
like,
am I a
that's why I'm like-
four-handed Buddha?
I like. That's why I was
Maybe.
saying. Like,
Huh.
are we still talking about like one hand? Like, oh wait, it means back arm, but he doesn't mean like a back swing.
Junior,
No.
I get it. You're an octopus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
and you have
His
your back
tentacles are
hand.
always strong.
Tentacles, please.
You have a minimum of 2 legs and 2 arms, but if you're an octopus, suddenly you have another pair of legs, another pair of arms.
Yep, exactly. You are
That's right.
invincible.
Now you have 2 front arms and 2 back arms.
2 back arms. Yep, and then
Yeah.
2
That's
front
assuming you're
legs
only
legs
using-
and 2 back legs.
and 2 back legs.
For a
Depending on
total
how
of
you- yeah.
8 tentacles.
8 tentacles,
Yeah.
please, guys. That's our fucking episode, and don't forget to follow us on HSTSC33 on Instagram, on Facebook, Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber, and Junior,
twitch.tv/Cookie Ninja Carve. Sign us out by singing Toxic, because toxic masculinity. Your toxic tongue slipping under.
We love you and we love each other, and we want you to be kind to one another.
That's right.
And also, be kind. Rewind. That was a really good movie.
That was a great one. I really like that one.
Yeah. Bring back Blockbuster.
Bring back Blockbuster. They tried to make a run at the Redbox thing, and it was just an epic fail.